Hello and welcome to another Cheeky Scientist whiteboard training video. I'm Isaiah Henkel with Cheeky Scientist, of course, and today we're talking about your 2018 PhD level industry resume guide. So 2018 is right around the corner. What did we learn from 2017 that we can apply to 2018, especially in terms of your industry resumes? Now, of course, your industry resume is going to be very different from a CV. It's going to be slightly different in 2018 than it was in 2017 because hiring is up for STEM jobs. Recruiters, hiring managers are looking at resumes even faster than they were in 2017. In other words, they're spending even less time on them. So there's a couple of things that you need to know to make sure you get started off on the right foot in your 2018 job search. Now, of course, your resume is one of the smallest parts of your job search. You want to actually get your resume into the hands of an employer or a recruiter, and that requires you to generate referrals, right? Network, generate referrals, set up informational interviews to set up referrals, and so forth. But here we're just focused on resumes. And a good way to think about it is a good resume is not enough to get you a job, but a bad resume is enough to prevent you from getting a job. So what do you need to know? Well, a couple of things here. So one thing we call the 80-20-10 principle. 80-20-10 principle. So over the last 10 years, the statistics, the numbers, the percentages are very, very stable here in terms of 80% of jobs are not posted online. Okay, so once again, 80% of jobs for PhDs are not posted online. Most of these jobs come from small and medium-sized companies. Now, as a PhD, you probably think, I don't want to work for a small company. But in industry, small means anywhere from 100 to 1,000 employees. Mid-size can mean anything from 100 to from 1,000 to several thousand employees. So these are big companies, but very often they're not publicly traded companies, or they don't have big HR departments, so they're not posting their jobs online. And I'm going to talk more about that data in a second. The 20, that's the other 20%. So 20% of the jobs are posted online. Those are the jobs that you're seeing, and 10% of those jobs, right, or half of those jobs, so 10% overall, are already filled. So here's what you need to know. When you see a job online, you find one, you say, oh, that's a perfect fit for me, I'm going to apply to it. It might already be filled. Because again, publicly traded companies, large companies, for a variety of reasons, they're required by the government to post open positions even if they already have it filled internally. So if you're just applying to jobs online, you're wasting your time. You need to understand this 80-20-10 principle. Very, very important. Now, if we look over here at these other statistics, this is actually from the 2017 MassBio Report. It's a great report. You can check it out online for free. It's a great sample to look at for PhDs because there's more PhDs in the city of Boston and in the state of Massachusetts than anywhere else in the world. So very important to look at that report. And what it shows is that job postings overall are actually down. Job postings, at the best, they're stable, but they're actually a little bit down. How is that possible if hiring is increasing, which it is increasing? So for STEM jobs have increased by about 5.6%. So that's most of you watching this, right? STEM, the National Science Foundation has defined it as life sciences, physical sciences, engineering, social sciences, basically any discipline that utilizes the scientific method. This is great news. You might think 5.6% is not a lot. That is huge in terms of job growth. And that's where most of the growth in the US and worldwide is occurring right now, is in STEM jobs, because that same report showed that all jobs overall are stable. There's zero growth. So if you take all jobs altogether, zero growth, except for STEM jobs, 5.6% growth. But here's the question. How can STEM jobs be up? How can there be more jobs, more hirings, if there's fewer job postings? It's because not all jobs are posted, okay? Most of them are not. That's why you got to get your resume in the hands of an actual person, not just uploading it online into the ATS software, the applicant tracking system software that will just weed out your resume. 10 to 25% stopping point. Okay, so in our Cheeky Scientist Association, we've interviewed top talent acquisition specialists, recruiters from the world's largest companies, whether it's Intel or Genentech or Novartis. And what they told us is that after about 10%, some as high as 25%, so I wanted to include that, but after usually around 10% of the resumes have been read, they stop. They do not read all 100% of resumes that come in. They can't, because resumes will continue to come in, and for large companies, a single position can get 2,000 resumes, 2,000. So what does this mean? They'll read a couple hundred of those resumes and be done. And so if you're not one of the first people to get in a resume, it's not going to be looked at. And again, this highlights the importance of having your resume perfect, but also getting it into the hands of somebody through networking and generating referrals. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is actually over here. This is your bullet point structure. We've done full trainings on this in the past, but every bullet point on your resume, and you can get a free resume template from us. Just go to our Facebook page here. You can message us. We'll send you a free resume template. You can download our complete resume guide, which is also on this page at the top in the banner. If you just click on that banner, you'll be taken to a link and you can get our resume guide. You can also just go to phdsgethired.com. But once you have the resume template that we offer, you want to structure your bullet points like this. Every bullet point has three parts. First, it needs to start with a transferable skill. Forget about using action words, like maximum or very strong or whatever it is. Focus on transferable skills, because for employers, they want to know that PhDs don't just have the technical expertise, they also have transferable skills such as product and market knowledge, knowledge of industry trends, basic things like time management skills, budgeting skills, conflict resolution skills, client-facing skills, project management skills, people management skills. Very important. That's what you want to start every bullet point with. At the end, you want to have quantified results, okay? People's eyes stop on numbers. Eye tracking studies show that if you put numbers, quantified results on your resume, employers' eyes will stop on them. And this is important because overall, on average, in 2017, employers only spent 6 seconds scanning resumes. So if they get your resume in person, they're still only going to spend 6 seconds on it. So you want to have quantified results. If you're thinking, I don't have any results, yes you do. Your discoveries, papers obviously, grant funding, these are all results. Methodologies you've improved or optimized. We can talk more about that in another video though. And then finally, you bring those two things together with your technical expertise, and you have a lot of technical expertise. Now finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is the structure of your resume. Now again, you can get our free resume template if you go to phdsgethired.com. It's on our website too, cheekyscientist.com. Very easy to find. Once you get that template, you're going to see it's structured with these 4 key areas. First, the professional summary. Your professional summary needs 3 bullet points, your biggest career highlights. And those bullet points should be structured, again, with these 3 things: transferable skill, technical expertise, and results. Second, not your education, it's your work experience. So even if it's just a postdoctoral research fellow, graduate research assistant, don't try to pretend you have industry experience if you don't. Put those down and then use 3 to 5 bullet points to highlight your key results in that role. Not your job duties, right? Not your methodologies, not industry jargon, but your key results. Then you can put, of course, I didn't even add education here, but you can put that you have your PhD and where you got it from. That's all you need to put for education. You also want to add a bulleted list of technical skills. This is very important, especially if you're giving your resume to a recruiter, because very often they get a list of technical skills or technical wants from an employer, and they'll look for like the instruments that you've used, right? The methodologies you know how to use, the reagents, software, and so forth. And then finally, honors, awards, and hobbies. Very important to include this. Just 1 or 2 bullet points is all. Any sort of volunteering that you've done, something outside of your STEM field, preferably, something that humanizes you. It could be, you're into arts and crafts. It could be you like hiking. If you like walking to the lab or walking to teach, you like hiking, okay? You can be a hiking enthusiast. Something that they can relate to, because remember, the first person to see your resume in most cases does not have a PhD, certainly is not a specialist in your field. Usually it's a hiring manager or recruiter showing something on there that shows that you're human, that you have interests outside of just your STEM career is very important. It also gives you a talking point if you go onto a phone screen. So hopefully this helped you. If you have any questions, please ask them on a comment on this post. And remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.